Hey everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why Point Break is in my collection. Point Break came out in 1991. It's directed by Catherine Bigelow. You might know her. She directed Strange Days, The Hurt Locker, also Zero Dark 30. She's a really good director. The movie stars Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, and Gary Busey. Right off the bat, I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, which is kind of strange because a lot of it revolves around surfing, and I'm from New York, and I've never been surfing in my whole entire life. Skydiving also is in the movie, that I did, and me and my boy Dave, who's my partner, Futuristic Vintage, we used to go to the beach all the time, as much as we could when we were younger. And we used to, ride the waves, boogie boards, all that kind of thing. So I get the whole being in tune with the ocean thing and riding waves and all that kind of thing. But I never surfed, and that's a big part of this movie. And I guess that's kind of what attracted me to it at first. Also, another thing is I remember this came out when I was a little kid, but I remember that all the movie posters and the commercials, they were pure adrenaline, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I gotta see this movie, and I'm glad I did, and I've seen it a million times after that. Listen, great actors in this movie, great direction, great story, a cool take on the undercover cop thing, which I'll get into, but it's action packed, and it's not your typical undercover cop story. Like I said, I alluded to that. I'll get into that. But really cool vibe with this movie too. Basically, the idea of it is Keanu Reeves' character is an FBI agent. He used to be a college football star, got really hurt with his knee, and he ended up going into the FBI. And he's put with Gary Busey, the young guy with the grizzled veteran cop dynamic thing, and they're in bank robbery, and they're looking for this one crew who they can never catch. They're called the ex-presidents because they wear president masks. You got Reagan and Nixon and Carter, and they wear those masks, and they bust in, they bust out. They know what they're doing. They're professional. They never hit the vault. They got their time down packed. They run in, get out, nobody gets hurt, nothing. And they robbed like 30 banks in 3 years. And Gary Busey's idea, which the guys in the FBI make fun of, is that these guys are surfers. Like surfers, get out of here. Like, yeah, okay, dude, these guys are robbing banks. Like, get the hell out of here. But his theory is, if you look at the dates when they do it, they only do it in the summer. And Keanu Reeves is like, okay, so they're robbing banks and then living the rest of the year off the cash, traveling, look on where the waves are. So he kind of believes the theory. And, like I said, they're partners and they're trying to figure it out. So the idea they come up with, since Keanu Reeves is a young, in shape guy, that he's going to go along the beaches and try to find out what he can. And he tries to learn how to surf, and he's getting killed in the waves, and he almost actually gets killed because he doesn't know what he's doing. He almost drowns, and this girl surfer saves him, and he sees that as an in. She looks like she knows what she's doing. She knows how to surf. She probably knows all these guys. So he follows her, gets all her information. I mean, he works for the FBI. So he goes to where she works, and she thinks he's hitting on her, but he's not. He tells her the story that his parents died because he saw in her file her parents died. And in like a plane crash, he says his parents died in a car crash, tried to get inside her mind and make her feel bad for him. And he was like, I need to be in the ocean. I'm drawn to it. So she was like, oh my God. She's okay. I'll teach you some things and then you're on your own. So she starts kind of teaching him, how to surf basically. And then you see Patrick Swayze come by with his guys. They're all top-notch surfers. And he kind of, makes fun of him or whatever. And one of the guys throws him a football. And pass is a little long. So Keanu Reeves catches it. So he's like, nice catch. He's like, thanks. He's like, hey man, listen, keep with the surfing, but he's kind of still making fun of him a little. So Keanu Reeves doesn't pick up on them, they're just like surfers, and he doesn't think anything of it. But while he's doing his undercover thing, he's trying to find out where these guys are, because there's different beaches. They could be anywhere. So they get the idea. One time when they robbed the bank, they scuffed their shoe on the counter and left some residue. And in that residue, they did a lab test, and they found it had these traces of different elements in it, and chemicals and stuff. And they figure out, okay, these guys got to surf at this one beach that's close to where it's like a chemical plant, and it gets in the water. And they're like, okay, these guys have to be at this beach. So he starts staking out that beach. And there's this one crew of guys. He's trying to surf, and he bumps into this one guy, and they get in a fight in the water. Punches Keanu Reeves out, and he comes back, and he's got his walkie-talkie. Gary Busey's making fun of him in the car. And he's like, you got to keep at it. But then he's taking a shower, getting ready to leave, and that guy shows up with his crew, and they're like, he's like, hey man, listen, I'm sorry about that. I'm not supposed to be in your area. I probably goes, doesn't matter. We're just gonna fuck you up. So they jump him, but then Patrick Swayze comes out of nowhere and starts giving them the business, and the two of them kick all their ass, and they're like, come on, let's get out of here. And they get out of there, and he's like, hey man, you're a pit bull. You didn't back down from them guys. He was like, you know what? You might not be much of a surfer, but you got that look in your eye. He's like, if you keep at it, you'll get it. And he's like, listen, I'm having a party later. He's like, why don't you come by with Tyler? That's the girl. So they come by, and they see, oh man, they're partying, and they're talking about these big waves. And Patrick Swayze's character says they're talking about this one thing that is called a 50-year storm. And every 50 years, the ocean swells. And in Australia, it's the biggest waves that you could ever possibly imagine. And he said that he's going to surf those one day. And all the other guys, yeah, we are too. And so they say, we're going to do a little night mission. They're going to go surfing at night. And Keanu Reeves is like, I barely do this in the daytime. You want me to do this at night? And he just like feel what the wave is doing and adjust. And, I skipped the part. I'm sorry. Before they have the party, they're playing football in the sand. And, you can tell it's Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze going at it. And Keanu Reeves is the quarterback. So he's doing this thing, whatever. He almost played professional if he didn't get hurt. And there's one part where they throw the ball to Patrick Swayze. Keanu Reeves blasts him into a wave. And he gets up, and all his boys are ready to, kick Keanu Reeves' ass. And they go, wait, hold on. Patrick Swayze goes, don't you know who this is? He goes, no, I don't know who this is. He says, it's Johnny Utah. He's like, what? Played for the Ohio Buckeyes. And they recognize him, not as a cop, that he played football. So that's how they kind of get the respect. They're like, okay, then they start hanging out. I apologize. I missed that important part. Sorry. But anyway, so they're surfing at night, and he kind of gets it. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm surfing. So they get out of the water, and they're like, let's leave the fire for him and the girl. So him and the girl, they wake up the next day. He's like, oh my God, I'm late. Now everybody thinks he's a lawyer. So he's like, I got a client I got to see. Meanwhile, Gary Busey, all the other cops, they're staking out the crew that he got in a fight with, because they ran their information, and these guys are into drugs and robberies and all kinds of shit. So like, those are probably the guys. But he's like, I don't know, they don't seem organized, they're nuts. And then they raid the house, and it's off the hook. I mean, it's a crazy, these guys got all kinds of guns, and then he knocks on the door, they open the door, blah, 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 and it's crazy. And they bust them, but they find out one of the guys that wasn't with them initially, he was in the house, is an undercover DEA agent, played by Tom Sizemore, great cameo. And he's like, hey man, I've been following these guys for a year. These guys are drug guys. He was like, and how were they robbing such and such bank on such and such a date when they were in Fort Lauderdale, Florida? How are they robbing banks in California when they're in Florida? I was with them. So they're like, not only did they get the wrong guys, but they blew this guy's drug bust that he's been working on for so long, all undercover and everything. So they're like, So then they go to hang out one other time, and as they're walking to the beach, he looks at them, And Gary Busey, when they were talking about that they're surfers and they rob banks in the summer and then they disappear like ghosts. When he's watching them, he stops and he looks and he sees them surfing and he remembers what Gary Busey says. And the girl, he's kind of like his girlfriend now, she goes, "What's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost." And it comes in his head, Gary Busey saying, "They are ghosts." He's like, oh shh. He realizes this is the crew. These guys are organized. They're together. They don't make mistakes. It's them. He goes, "I gotta go." He's like, "I got a meeting I forgot about." Comes back, tells Gary Busey, I got the guys. I know who they are." And he was like, "I tailed them. After I left, I tailed them. I followed them. They stopped here. They stopped there. They stopped at this bank." And he goes, "Well, maybe he was cashing a check." He was like, "No, man. He was definitely staking it out." And they go and they wait for them outside. They're staking out the bank. And when they go to get food, they pull up to the bank. They run in, and then they're running out. They see him. Keanu Reeves pulls out his gun, aims it at him, starts shooting, whatever. But one of them is about to shoot Keanu Reeves. He's got him. But you see that Patrick Swayze knocks the gun down. He goes, "No," because they've become friends. So they have this great chase scene in the cars and stuff. And then when they pull over there in a gas station, they can't get away. He lights the car on fire. They start running. Patrick Swayze's running and Keanu Reeves chasing him. One of the greatest on foot chase scenes I ever seen. They're going through people's backyards, through their houses. He throws a dog at him. It's crazy. And then he jumps over this fence. There's this big jump down into like a ravine. And Keanu Reeves tries to follow him, but his bad knee hits the ground. He's down. That's it. And Patrick Swayze's getting away. And he can shoot him. And he's about to shoot him. And he does. He starts firing in the air because he did the same thing Patrick Swayze did for him, because they've become friends. He doesn't want to kill him. He'll arrest him, but he doesn't want to kill him. So now he's all scraped up and everything. The girl's taking care of him. And then the girl leaves, and early in the morning, knock on his door, on Keanu Reeves' door, and it's Patrick Swayze and his crew. And he's like, okay, they know it's me. What do I do here? But he can't panic. He can't grab his gun. He can't do nothing. He said, "Come on, we're going on a little trip." And they're going skydiving. And he's like, "I'm not really up for this. I kind of hurt my knee the other day." And he's like, "Yeah, I saw you limping. You okay?" And they're playing it off like they don't know, both sides. And they get to the thing, and they go up in the plane. He's like, "Well, who packed my chute?" He's like, "I did. Why?" He's like, "Oh, switch it with this one." He's like, "No, well, don't switch it with that one. I packed it. It's terrible. Switch it with this one." They switch them all around, and he ends up getting the same pack back. And he's like, so he thinks they're going to kill him. Like, just his chute's not going to open. He's going to die. They jump out, and they have this great scene of them skydiving and, coming next to each other and, forming rings and all that kind of cool stuff. And then they land. And so Keanu Reeves is kind of confused. Like, okay, these guys know it's me. What the hell is going on? Why are they doing, So he takes him in a van, and he says, "I got to show you something." Shows him a video of one of their guys who's not in the main crew, not in the one that robs the banks, but he's a nut job, and he hangs out with them. And they got his girl tied up, and he's got a knife to her throat. He's like, "Look," he was like, "you leave us alone. We're going to do one more job, and you let her go. And we'll let her go." And he's like, no, you take her to me now. He goes, "Listen, somewhere I don't know where they are. He's going to call me. I can't do anything about it right now." So basically they're going to do this one job, and he's going to make Keanu Reeves' character come with them. So now he's going, no mask, nothing, FBI agent, got to rob a bank. They go to rob this one bank. Everybody's on the floor. One of the guys on the floor is a cop in plain clothes. He's pulling out his gun ready to do it, right? And Patrick Swayze says, "Go for the vault." They're like, "Why are we going for the vault? We never go for the vault." He's like, just do it. I think because he knows they're done. This is their last job. They have to get enough money to disappear. And their whole plan is to get to Mexico and let the girl go. When that happens, the cop comes up, he shoots one of them, they shoot him, it's a big shootout. Couple of them one of them gets killed, another one gets wounded, and and then they just knock Keanu Reeves out and leave him there. And then the FBI guys come, and they're like, "You're an accessory, you're this, you're that." Gary Busey says, let me book him. He's my partner. So Gary Busey takes him, puts him in the car. He goes, "I know where they're going." He uncuffs him. He goes, "I figured you did. Go to the airport." Going to the airport, they're loading up to go to Mexico. And he comes out and he's like, look, guys, hey, he's like, I'm by myself. And he's like, no, you're not. You know, he's kind of, no, you're right. You got a gun on you right now. But and Gary Busey's waiting behind looking, but one of them was in the back packing up his stuff to go. He's got a shotgun. He shoots Gary Busey in the back. Gary Busey turns around, shoots him. So now he's hurt, like really bad. Gary Busey dies. And Keanu Reeves is like, you know, because he's his partner. Oh my God, you know. And Patrick Swayze goes, get in the plane. Get in the plane. We don't got time. The cops are coming. We don't got time. Get in the plane. Do you want your girl to live or die? He gets in the plane. There you go. He goes, okay, they're in the air. He goes, okay, let her go. He goes, I'm waiting for the call. He gets the call on the walkie-talkie of his guy, and he says, okay, now let her go. He goes, I can't. She's my insurance policy. Once we're on the ground, we'll let her go. He jumps out. He goes, you don't get your man this time. He jumps out, and they're going down to the ground. Keanu Reeves goes, fuck it. He jumps out, no parachute. Just nuts. He goes flying down, grabs onto Patrick. What are you, crazy, you know? And he was like, pull the ripcord. He's got the gun to Patrick Swayze's head. Pull the ripcord. He's like, no, you pull it. He's like, you gotta let go of the gun or else what are you gonna hold on to me with? He's like, pull the ripcord. Nope, ain't gonna happen. And they're flying down. He's like, come on, man, we're gonna be pancakes, you know? And it's very intense. He throws the gun away. He pulls the ripcord. They land real hard. His knee is all jacked up. He's walking away. Here comes the truck with the girl. He says, let her go. Let her go. He hops in the trunk. His boy, the other one that was shot, he's dead. So now it's just Patrick Swayze and the other guy. So fast forward a little while, and you see Keanu Reeves' hair got longer. You can tell his time has passed, and it's pouring rain. And you see he drives up in a sign. They're in Australia, Bells Beach. And you remember that was when the 50-year storm was coming and the biggest waves. And he comes up and he sees his own, you know, he's like, what's going on out there? He's like, nobody's surfing out there. It's death out there. Don't go out there. But he knows Patrick Swayze is going to be out there. So he goes out there and he sees one guy standing on the beach. And he comes up and he throws the Ronald Reagan mask in front of him and he sees it. And he turns around, he knows it's him and he sees it, he goes, and then he starts telling him, he goes, I looked for you in Mexico. I missed you by a day in Fiji, you know, all this stuff. And he was like, but I knew you wouldn't miss the 50-year storm. And he goes, God, you know I wouldn't. He's like, I'm just waiting for my set of waves. He's like, man, you got to go down. He was like, you broke the law. You crossed the line. People trusted you and they died. And he's like, I know it went bad. He goes, nah, man, it went more than bad. He was like, you got to come in with me and you got to come in with me now. He goes, it ain't going to happen, amigo. And they start fighting. And they have a really cool hand-to-hand fight scene. And just when Keanu Reeves is under the water and he's drowning, Patrick Swayze, you think he's got him, he lets him go. But he cuffed himself to Patrick Swayze. He's like, no. And then he says to him, listen, all right, you know what? You know I can't handle a cage. He's like, you got to let me go. He's like, I can't let you go. You got to go down. He was like, just let me get one wave. He goes, I'm not going to paddle to New Zealand, you know, just let me get my one wave. Then you can lock me up forever. You get your guy and everything. And, you know, Keanu Reeves is like, okay. And he unlocks him. And you think, okay, he's letting him do that because he's his friend and they built this bond. Let him get one wave. He can't, you know, where's he going to go? He's right. He's got to come back in. So the Australian cop, you let him go? You let him go? He goes, I didn't let him go. And he walks away and you see this giant wave come and Patrick Swayze's riding it, but then it was just too big, too much. Nobody could ride that wave. And you could tell that's how he went out. He died the way he lived. And Keanu Reeves just throws his badge into the water and walks away. Just a great movie. Action-packed, memorable lines, just such a cool vibe and a different take on the undercover movie thing with and you know, I mean, bank robbers who are surfers. It's just such a great movie. I suggest you check it out highly. On the rewatchability scale, man, I gotta go 90. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times and it never ever gets old. It's such a classic movie. It's a cult classic, but to me, it's a classic. Thank you so much for watching. In almost all my videos, I wear these cool shirts designed by my partner in Futuristic Vintage, Dave. Shout out Dave. If you like any of the shirts that I'm wearing and you want to check out some other ones and make some purchases, go to futuristicvintage.net. That's futuristicvintage.net. All kinds of shirts on there, different designs. You got, pop culture stuff, movie stuff, all kinds of cool designs. And in the description, there's he's got a little thing set up where you get a cool discount kind of deal if you come from my videos. So check that out. You won't be disappointed. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you like my content and you want to check out some more stuff, subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Hit the notification bell so whenever I drop new videos, which I do all the time, you'll get alerted and you can check those out. Give this video and all those a like, share them with your other movie nut friends, and tell them about the channel. I appreciate it. This is Mr. Movie signing off, and I'll see you again next time at the Flicks.